We'll now turn to the proposed international consortium and the activities that we anticipate. Once again, I'm inviting this distinguished audience from across the globe to please consider joining our consortium, which is just now being formed. The activities that we're currently anticipating, and of course, as we gain more membership and further inputs, certainly this list could be added to. But at minimum, we anticipate a regular webinar, which would have a roundtable format, reviewing country-specific issues, strategies, and programs to help cross-pollinate ideas across different jurisdictions. Additionally, peer-review open source or traditional journal would ideally be forthcoming as a freestanding journal over time, but in the interim, ideally we'd be looking towards special issues from existing journals. There would be a semi or annual conference as well to disseminate related information. In addition, there would be an effort to establish low resource cost intervention strategies and best practice methodologies to address cognitive behavioral disorders and their impacts in the school system in terms of independent living and work. The low resources specifically speak to the fact that there's highest overrepresentation within Indigenous communities, which tend to have access to less resources overall. So this is a call to be most efficient with our anticipated intervention strategies. We're also looking to establish a common research outcomes database and sharing and co-development of clinical and legal tools and resources. Two examples that we are putting forth for the group's consideration, including the functionally oriented ROMS, Rehab Outcome Measurement System outcome database, with the objective to further indigenize its content. BrainScreen is an existing online cognitive assessment platform, which requires further normative data relative to the early elementary school group to be most effective as a triage or screening tool as early as possible within the school trajectory. All of the tools and resources that we're speaking of be very important that they include Indigenous methodologies, and this will be part of the mandate towards knowledge transfer and possibly a parallel to a common metrics approach. From the standpoint of medical legal strategizing, these would include parliamentary influence, and I note that Dr. Williams has made great strides in this respect and will be leading the group in this way. The potential for class action lawsuits against the state with respect to neurocognitive and neurobehavioral disorders and injuries in the post-colonial context. These may be parallel to the impetus behind the inception of the Canadian Truth and Reconciliation process. Additionally, obviously, there are, in the context of neurotoxins, there are industrial and resource extraction implications, pesticide implications, which again may be suited to considered class action lawsuits. To give you a bit more details on two of the potential universal measures that could be brought to the group. From the cognitive screening standpoint, this includes BrainScreen, which is an easily accessible, web-based automated screen for cognitive impairment with real-time interpretive results that persons of various age, education, racial, linguistic, and ethnic backgrounds can complete independently. The measures within this online brief battery include orientation, working memory, learning, memory and retrieval, sustained selective attention and accuracy, visual spatial skills, problem solving, reaction time, information processing speed. To date, BrainScreen has been normed on 3,878 individuals ranging in age from 10 to 84. Currently under funding review to validate BrainScreen as a screening tool towards identification of cognitive disabilities in educational and correctional facilities. We hope to hear soon about this funding so we can move the project ahead. It basically seeks to assess the sensitivity, specificity, positive and negative predictive validity related to disorders such as intellectual disabilities, learning disabilities, FASD, and acquired brain injuries, to name but a few. With respect to outcome measurement, the Rehabilitation Outcome Measurement System, which myself and colleagues have developed within Rehabilitation Research Education Evaluation Services, is an open source online database housed in the University of Toronto Scarborough's Mental Health and Psychology Department, a major neuropsychological training facility. It provides universal clinical, functional, vocational protocols for any combination of disabling conditions stemming from one or a combination of physical, cognitive, and/or psychological impairments. The potential administrative base for the Neuro-Justice Consortium is currently envisioned to be a partnership of University of Exeter under Dr. Williams and University of Toronto Scarborough Mental Health Psychology Department and Rehabilitation Sciences Institute at the University of Toronto. Finally, my own firm, Rehabilitation Research, Education, and Evaluation Services, would also be a partner in the core administrative hub. As this video winds down, the next several slides will depict the Canadian Truth and Reconciliation Commission calls for action, which are most pertinent to this issue of neurojustice. In closing, before the TRC calls scroll, once again I am inviting the audience, participants, all of whom are clinical, but hopefully to be joined by the legal profession towards a neurojustice consortium so that we can all strategize and address this issue of overrepresentation in the judicial system relative to those with a wide variety of neurocognitive and behavioral conditions. Thank you for your time.